Here, gravitation. In gravitation, the force between the two bodies because of their masses exist between them is called the gravitational force. That was gravitational force was measured by Newton's law of gravitation. So according to Newton's law of gravitation, the gravitational force between two bodies is directly proportional to product of their masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance. Or F is proportional to m1 m2 by r square, or F is equal to some proportionality constant capital G into m1 m2 by r square, where the proportionality constant G is called universal gravitational constant, whose value is measured by experimentally by Cavendish, and its value is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kilogram square. Okay, in vector form, if the gravitational force of attraction acts on this body due to this is in this direction, as it is attraction, the position vector of this body in this direction. That's why position vector and gravitational force of attraction both are opposite to each other. That's why while writing this gravitational force of attraction in vector form, we have to write minus sign. F bar is equal to minus gm1 m2 by r cube into r bar. Okay. Next, of course, first one, gravitational force is the conservative force. Gravitational force is the central force, and gravitational force between the two bodies is directly proportional to product of masses, inversely proportional to square of the distance. Gravitational force is the central force, means the gravitational force between two bodies is always lies along the line joining the two bodies. Such type of force is called central force. So it is the central force. It is the weakest force in nature. In nature, there are the basic forces exist. They are gravitational force, Coulomb's force, and nuclear force. Among them, the weakest force is gravitational force, and strongest force is the nuclear force. Gravitational force between the two bodies exists because of exchange of one type of particle called graviton. Coulomb's force exists between the two charges because of exchange of one type of particle called photon. Nuclear force exists between any two nucleons because of exchange of one type of particle called meson. Okay. Here this universal gravitational constant value was experimentally determined by the Cavendish. Fourth one, dimension formula of capital G. In order to find the dimension formula of capital G, first of all, we have to write the relation in which universal gravitational constant term exists. Here in this formula, universal gravitational constant exists. No, that's why you write this one. From this, G is equal to Fr square by m1 m2. We can write no. Capital G is equal to Fr square by m1 m2. Now, dimension formula of capital G is equal to dimension formula of this entire Fr square by m1 m2. Okay, this is equal to dimension formula of F means ml t to the power of minus 2. Dimension formula of R means, because R is the distance, that is why length square by it is mass, that's why m into m square, m square cancel. Therefore, dimension formula of universal gas constant, universal gravitational constant is equal to m to the power of minus 1. You write this denominator term into in numerator, m inverse l square, that means l cube into t to the power of minus 2. This is the dimension formula of the universal gravitational constant. Okay, next. 11 minutes more. Next, fourth node point. No, fourth node point. Suppose there are this is origin. Here, a particle of mass m is kept at different points. Identical particles each of mass m are kept. Identical particles each of mass m are kept at different points on one straight line, that may be along x-axis, whatever it may be, on a straight line, and so on. In this way, number of particles are kept. Infinite number of particles are kept like this. Infinite number of particles. Okay. First, here along x-axis, all these particles are kept at distances 1 meter. Here it is 2 meter, 4 meter. Okay. Next, 8 meter, 16 meter, like that. They are kept like this. Okay. Right. In this way, they are kept. Okay, now what is the ratio? Okay, here we see. Therefore, what is the gravitational force of attraction acts on the particle at origin due to other? So you see, this particle attracts this particle in this direction. This particle attracts this particle in this direction. This particle attracts this particle in this direction. That's why all attraction force acts on this particle at origin in the same direction. So net gravitational force acts on particle at origin, comma, F is equal to question mark. So F is equal to gravitational force of attraction acts on this particle due to this is G into M. That means M square by distance square means 1 square plus G into M square by distance square means 2 square plus G into M square by distance square means 4 square plus G into M square by distance square means 4 square plus G into M square by distance square means this distance is 60 meters square and so on. Infinite terms we have to write like this. You take all terms here common terms, you take common, gm square is common. So 1 by 1 square means 1 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 16 plus 1 by 64 plus 1 by 256 plus and so on. What is the common ratio between them? 1 by 4 by 1 by 4, 1 by 16 by 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 by 64 by 1 by 16, 1 by 4, 1 by 256 by 4, 1 by 4. That means ratio between any two adjacent terms remains the same. That common ratio is equal to 1 by 4. Therefore, here all are in GP, no? When infinite terms are in GP, then sum of the infinite terms we know. Therefore, F is equal to G into M square into sum of infinite terms means A by 1 minus common ratio. That is equal to GM square of A means first term 1 by common ratio. 1 minus common ratio means 1 by 4. That's all. So this is equal to GM square into 4 by 3. You will get. Okay. Therefore, force acts on the particle at origin is equal to G of 4gm square by 3. This is the gravitational force of attraction acts on this particle due to other. Similarly, fifth one. According to principle of superposition of the forces, according to principle of superposition of forces acts on different particles. Suppose there are number of particles in a system. There are number of particles in a system. Suppose here at origin there is one particle. At origin there is one particle. There are number of particles are like this. So here this particle having mass m1. This is a m. It is m2. It is m3 like this. Here this particle attracts this particle in this direction with a force f1. It is in this direction with a force f2. This particle attracts this particle in this direction f3. Then what is the net force acts on the particle? So according to the principle of superposition of the forces, whenever in a system there are number of particles, then the net force acts on any one of the particles. F bar is equal to vector sum of all the particles acts on the same body. Vector sum of all the particles acts on the same body. Just like polygon law. Just like polygon law, we can write like this. Okay. Fifth note point. Okay. It is sixth. So it is fifth note point. Right. Okay. Here we know this one. Next. So in order to obtain the resultant force acts on any body, we have to take the vector sum because force is a vector quantity. No. Seventh one, very, very important and previously asked point in mains. Next point, seventh one. Seventh one. Suppose we are given a body having mass. We are given a body having mass capillum. It is divided into two parts. It is divided into two parts. So that mass of one particle is small m and mass of the other particle becomes small capillum minus small m. No. Okay. The given body having mass capillum is divided into two parts so that the mass of one particle is small m and mass of the other particle is remaining particle is definitely capillum minus small m. here these two particles are kept at certain distance like this. These two particles are kept at certain distance so that the gravitational force of attraction between these two particles is maximum. Actually, for this distance, what is the gravitational force of attraction between them? G into mass of this particle into mass of that particle by distance square. So here, that for the given distance between the two particles, in order to have the maximum gravitational force between them, what must be the ratio between the mass of this particle and mass of this particle? This is say m2, this is say m1. What is the ratio for maximum force between the two particles? What is the ratio between m1 and m2? That is the case. Anybody else can say? Yeah, very good. Right. Here, you see, for the gravitational force between the two particles is maximum. The given body is divided into two parts so that their masses are m1, m2. What should be the ratio between the masses so that the gravitational force between the two particles for the given distance must be maximum? That's why in order to have the maximum force, you differentiate this maximum force. You differentiate this, if it is the maximum force, when you differentiate that force with respect to the mass m, then that must be 0. Because suppose in this formula, if it is maximum force, that is constant for the given two particles when divided like this in terms of m1 and m2. If it is maximum force, when you differentiate this force, maximum force with respect to mass m, that must be 0. So for F max, dF by dm must be 0. Okay, that is equal to d by dm of F means this one, G small m capital M minus small m by R square. That is equal to 0. Okay, therefore, okay, now you see here gm, capital G is constant, small r square is constant because for the given distance only. That's why G by R square is constant. You write outside G by R square of d by dm into d by dm of m into m minus m. That means you multiply them. Small m into capital M minus m square is equal to 0. So therefore, G by R square, you do cross multiplication. 0 by something 0. Then remaining d by dm of small m capital M. Capital M is constant. You keep aside into, because capital M is the total mass. Whatever the ratio into which it is divided, this total mass does not alter. So capital M is constant. You write outside. D by dm of m means 1. So you will get m minus d by dm of m square means 2m. We can write now that is equal to 0. 0 by this G by R square is 0. Therefore, m is equal to capital M by 2 now. That means this mass m1 becomes capital M by 2. M2 becomes capital M minus capital M by 2. That means again m by 2. That means whenever the given body is divided into two parts so that m1 by m2 is equal to m by 2 1. That means it is divided into two equal parts. When the given body having certain mass is divided into two equal parts having same masses, then gravitational force of attraction between them is maximum. Okay, for minimum, for F minimum, whatever the condition, whatever the masses, for F minimum, okay, last 1 minute. For minimum force between the two particles, definitely one mass must be, the one particle having mass must be minimum mass which is possible. When you take one particle having mass which is as possible as minimum, that means 1 unit, then remaining mass must be equal to capital M minus 1. Then force between them is minimum. Okay, what is that minimum force? What is the ratio between the maximum force to minimum force? Maximum by minimum is how much? Maximum force means, of course, distance is same, this is same. So since force is equal to G m1 m2 by distance square now, for the given distance only, what is the maximum force between the two parts and minimum force between the two parts means this is constant, this is constant. Okay, the F is proportional to m1 m2 only. In first case, for maximum force, mass ratio is m by 2 into m by 2 because masses are same. In next case, for minimum force, one mass must be 1 into other mass must be m minus 1. Therefore, when you simplify them, then you will get F maximum by F minimum is equal to m square by 4 into m minus 1. This is the ratio between the maximum force to minimum force. It is the ratio between the maximum force to minimum force. As for the given distance, in order to have the maximum force between them, that maximum force for the given two particles remains constant for that particular distance. As it is, if it is maximum, it is constant. That's why when you differentiate the constant with respect to m, as it is constant, that must be 0. That's why I made df by dm is equal to 0. Okay. Right. What is your doubt, Mr. Vamshi Krishna? Vamshi Krishna. Okay, remaining people, you can leave the class. What about Vamshi Krishna? What is your doubt? Cavendish experiment. That experiment name is also Cavendish experiment. That experiment is also Cavendish experiment only. Okay, Vamshi Krishna. Cavendish experiment only.